Hey, this is Dr. Steve on a hot summer day here on Lake Ray Hubbard. I'm going to show you how to use a bucket of rice to strengthen your grip, your fingers, your wrist, your elbow, and even your shoulder. So this is a small bucket. This is about 10, 12 pounds of rice. My hands aren't too big, so this bucket barely fits my hands. You can certainly get a wider and deeper bucket. You'll need 20 to even 30 pounds of rice for this, especially if you want to dig your hand deep, which we'll go into this in a second. How did I learn about this? Well, I was a doctor on the medical staff at a powerlifting competition, funny enough, at Halsey Fieldhouse, which is the Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, and the head athletic trainer there showed me this. So what are we going to do? Well, first a little bit of anatomy. If I go to the anatomical position and my hand is open up like this is my right hand, thumb, pinky. And if we go onto the pinky side, that is what's called the medial side or the inside. And that's where all the muscles that make a fist and flex, meaning pull your wrist toward the shoulder, that's where these muscles start. So this is your medial epicondyle. When people have problems on this side, a lot of times that's called golfer's elbow. And then the other side, the little bony prominence on the other side, if I turn my hand around, that's called the lateral epicondyle. That's extension of the fingers, straightening them out, and extension of the wrist. So that's commonly called tennis elbow. This video is not about giving you medical advice, because you should see a proper medical provider if you do have an issue. I'm going to show you how to strengthen your fingers all the way up the kinetic chain. What do we mean by the kinetic chain? Out from the very edge or distal away from the body to proximal all the way up to the shoulder and the neck. So what are we going to do with this rice? Well, first off, we have finger movements, right? So we can extend the fingers and they open up, and then we can flex. So most grip work is flexing, right? You're holding on to something, you've got grippers, flexing. But what do we do to strengthen extension? There are some products that have little bands that you can put around each finger and you can open them up, and they're great, but the rice bucket is wonderful. So if I lean the rice like this and I just slowly open my hand and fan the rice, I can do this with my fingers together and just go to the edge of the rice bucket like this and fan the rice away from me. So now I'm working on extension, and then I can fan the rice toward me. I'm working on flexion. But the wrist also does what's called ulnar deviation, or out to the pinky side, and radial deviation, which is out to the thumb side. So I can do those two movements in the rice bucket. If I stick my hand further in, then there's obviously more resistance. So I can radially deviate and ulnar deviate, sticking my fingers into the rice bucket. These are forgotten motions. Now pay attention when you do this, because when you're moving, you want to move your wrist and not do it with the shoulder. You can do the shoulder eventually, shove your hand down there and really work the whole chain, but in the beginning, we can separate out these movements. So I can fan the rice by opening up and closing, not sticking my fingers all the way in, to digging down and fanning open and squeezing the rice, and fanning open and squeezing the rice, and fanning open and squeezing the rice. Then I can go side to side with my fingers closed together. I can go side to side with my fingers open. I can also just simply open my fingers and close my fingers this way against the rice. So I stick my hand in maybe up to my knuckles and open and close, open and close. Notice no movement here, just open and close. So we have open the fingers, close the fingers, side to side, and back in. I can even do individual. So I can open my index and thumb and focus on that. Say I'm a baseball pitcher and I want to work on certain pitches. I can open and close index thumb. I can open, close third finger thumb, open, close fourth finger, open, close fifth finger. I used to play the trumpet. It can be very helpful with that as well. So I can not only use the whole hand, but I can separate out these movements if I so choose. Then I can shove my whole hand in here and start rotating side to side. Deeper I put it in, the harder it is. So when I rotate, can I try to think of focusing the rotation at my elbow and not rotating around my shoulder? That's also a good exercise, but if I want to separate it out, I can rotate. I can move my wrist side to side, rotate. I can open and close with my hand deeper in. And I really grab the rice. And then I can shove all the way in and use my whole upper extremity to rotate. You're going to feel that more in your elbow. So we have to think very carefully about the movements that we want to improve if we want to focus on the fingers, on the wrist, then to the elbow, and then even to the shoulder. So you can get creative with the different motions that you can use. So you can also make a fist and punch it in there and then try to open your hand completely and close it. So you can see there's just a ton of exercises you can come up with. Be creative, but you will be amazed what a pump you will get in the forearms and how much you'll strengthen your grip by using the right rice bucket. Enjoy.